Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome to another Moralis video. Today, learn how to create your own personalized Slack bot to get information out of the blockchain. In this case, we are going to create one to get whale alerts, so you can integrate live events happening on blockchain into your professional communication tool. For that, we are going just to need a simple Python script and of course, Moralis streams. So, take a cup of coffee and get started. What's up YouTube, my name is Vasily, your Web3 instructor from Latin America, Ecuador. I've been building on the space since 2020 with cool crypto projects. In my free time I really enjoy singing and playing the guitar, and if the time is good, I like to go out and take some meditations. But enough about me, let's go back to the video and start building. First of all, we need to decide which kind of information we want our bot to show up when we are working. This information could come in several different ways, because we can specify any contract address on Moralis streams, so we can have live events for maybe our NFT marketplace when a DAO creates a new proposal, or in this case, we are going to have whale alerts for the transactions on Tether USD. Don't forget to go to moralis.io, create your free account, and then you're going to have access to your admin panel. Here you're going to find your free API key, which you can use to get information out of the blockchain, and the section we are going to use today is the stream section. I already have one stream I used to test this bot, but let's create one from scratch. So let's click on create new stream. Here we have to decide which smart contract we want to listen the events from. In this case, I'm going to choose Tether USD. And here we are going to be able to add all the configuration we need. As I selected Tether, the contract address is automatically added. Then we need to specify a webhook URL. Moralis gets the information out of the blockchain and sends that information to your server. We are going to configure that just in a minute. We have to provide a description. In this case, I'm going to say Slack alerts. And the tag could be anything else. Let's say Slack demo, for example. Then we need to specify which network we want to use. Moralis streams are compatible with a lot of EVM compatible blockchains, including the testnets, but today let's keep on the Ethereum mainnet. Then we need to decide which events we want to listen to. In this case, we are going to just listen to the contract interactions, because we need to know when a wallet transfers certain amount of Tether to another wallet. Here we have to provide the contract API. If this contract is one of your own, you can get this information on Remix or on the compiled folder on the framework you are using. But as this is a currency, we have the API publicly available on Etherscan, so we just have to find from Tether on Etherscan, go to the contract section, and here on the bottom we are going to have the access to the API, so we can just copy this, go back to the Moralis admin panel, and paste it over here. Automatically Moralis is going to detect all the events this contract has. In this case, we care about the transfers. And here we can set up some filters. At this point, Moralis is going to listen to all the transfer events occurring on the Tether smart contract, but we want to use it for whale alerts. So let's set up a new filter. Let's click on select topic. Here we are going to have available the events we selected, in this case transfer, and now we can add a new filter. So I want the filter to be greater than, and the value of the transaction should be greater than, let's say, $1 million. So 123, 123. But of course, we need to add the decimals for Tether, so I'm going to add 6 more zeros, 123, 123. However, as this is a video and we don't want to wait until a transaction greater than $1 million occurs, let's just delete 1 0, so we are going to be able to get more information out of this. We are not going to use triggers, we have a specialized video for triggers, so check out our channel. So for now, let's just click on update stream. And as easy as that, Moralis is already getting the information of that transfers live from the blockchain. But for now, this is just working on the demo tab. It means all the information is going to be shown over here. But of course, we want to use this into our Slack bot. So let's create a little server using Python and then connect to the Moralis streams through a webhook. Here I am on my Visual Studio Code in a new file called app.py, and on this occasion we are going to create a really simple server using Flask. This is going to be a really straightforward process. First, we need to import Flask and requests. Then, as storing the private keys into the code is a bad practice, we are going to also use the library .env to load that configuration from the env file. And I also going to import some dependencies we are going to use later. Let's save this, and by the way, if you don't have these dependencies installed, don't forget to go to your terminal and install those dependencies with pip install and the package name. I already have them, so we can continue. First, we are going to use the local package to set up the local encoding for us, in our case UFT8. Then we are going to declare the Flask app, so app is going to be equal to Flask and the name of the app. And now we need to declare a new route. So add app.route, the endpoint is going to be called webhook, and the method is going to be post. Then we can define the view, in this case def webhook. And as you can see here, the GitHub Copilot auto-completion is really good because it gave me this. But I'm going to just delete all of this because I don't need it. We are going to decode the information which is going to come from Moralis using this local standard. So webhook is going to be equal to request.data.decode and using that UFT format. And then we are going to load this information as a JSON. So JSON object is going to be equal to json.loads and the webhook. Then, as we want to get the information out of the transfer, we need to know which is the exact event name our smart contract has. If we go back to the Moralis admin panel, we find that the event we care about is this ERC20 transfers, which is going to have all the information we need, including the sender account, the receiver account, the value, the currency symbol, and also the token decimals. So we are going to take this ERC20 transfers over here and then use it on our server. As a good practice, let's add a try catch statement. So let's say transfer is going to be equal to the JSON object, and instead of getting this transfer, we are going to get the ERC20 transfers. And of course, we want the index 0. In this case, we are using the index 0 just for simplification because some accounts or some exchanges are used to make a lot of transactions of different tokens at the same time. So using the index 0, we are ensuring that the information shown is going to be just for the token we want. Let's add the except for the error handling. So except index error and return no transfers. And for now, just to test if this is working properly, let's print that transfer. So print transfer. And also we are going to return OK if everything goes fine. Finally, we need to just create the entry point for our server. If name equals main, we are going to run this on the port 5002. As easy as that, we have our server ready. So let's go back to the terminal, clean this up and run python app.py. And the Flask server now is running. This server is ready to get information from any petitions. However, as you can see here, we are running this on the local server. And remember, Moralis needs a webhook URL. So we need to provide one. Fortunately, we have packages such as ngrok, which allows you to create a webhook URL to connect to your local servers. So please select the one specific for your operating system. In my case, macOS, I already have it installed. So in a new terminal tab, we can just run ngrok http, and we have to use the exact same port as the one we are using for our server. And this is going to create that webhook for us. So I can just copy this link, Ctrl+C, go back to the Moralis panel, paste the URL over here, and remember, we named our endpoint as webhook. So we are going to copy this name, paste it over here, and click on Update Streams. Now, if everything goes well, we can change this from demo to production. This is going to remove the panel over here, and as I didn't get any error over here, it means this is supposed to be working. So let's return here to the server itself, and here we are going to have the default information for how these transactions are going to look like. And as you can see here, I already started to get that information. So now we can take this information and use it to create our Slack bot. So for now, I'm going just to go back to my panel and pause my stream because we are going to create the Slack bot now. In order to accomplish that, please go to api.slack.com and here you are going to be able to create your app. Please be sure you have a Slack account and let's continue. Let's click on create app. We are going to have two options to create it from scratch or from a manifest. This is a beta. Let's select from scratch. Let's give it a name. I'm going to say Moralis bot 2 because I already have one I created for testing. We have to decide which workspaces we are going to use. I have my own Slack server over here. I'm going to select this one and let's click on create app. This is going to have a lot of options and configurations you can go through, but the important part for us here is to go to out and permissions. Here we need to install the bot into the workspace. However, we can do it right now because first we need to set up some scopes. So let's click on add an authentication scope. We need this bot to be able to set up the right capabilities, send a message as Moralis bot 2. So let's click this one. And as easy as that, we can click now on install to workspace. Let's click this. We are going to have to authorize this. Let's click on allow. And we already have our bot ready to be used and configured. Now, as you can see here, we are going to get bot user OAuth token. This is sensitive information. Anyone with this token is going to be able to use this bot. So please keep this as secretly as you can. I'm showing this to you right now because I'm going to delete this bot after this video. But remember, it's sensitive information. So let's copy this one. And instead of adding this into the code, again, as this is sensitive information, I'm going to add this into my env file. So I'm going to say Slack bot token is going to be equal to this one. Now we need to decide on which channel we want the Slack bot to be able to send messages to. I have a channel here called whale alerts 2, so we need to specify that also here. I'm going to say Slack channel going to be equal to whale alerts. And of course, you need to be sure that the bot is actually added to this channel. So let's go to view channel details, go to integrations, add an app, and we can now select the bot, Moralis bot 2. Let's click on add, and now the bot is added to this channel. Now, as we already have the Slack configuration site, let's code the actual script to create the bot. So we can return to our code, and here we are going to use the Slack SDK. So again, if you don't have it, don't forget to go to your terminal and install pip install Slack SDK and also requests. I already have both, so we can return here and start importing the SDK. So we're going to say from Slack SDK import the web client, and from Slack errors import the Slack AP error. This is again just for error handling. Now, as we are storing this into the .env file, we need to load that env using the .env library, and now we need to declare these variables over here. So let's say here Slack bot token going to be equal to os.getEnv Slack bot token, and the same for the Slack channel. With this, we can create a new instance of the Slack client. So Slack client is going to be equal to the web client we just imported, and we are going to send over this Slack bot token. And the compiler is angry with me because remember the order is important. So let's put this down here. Now, as we want this bot to send messages, let's down here create a new function. The function is going to be called send message. We are going to send the parameters the channel and the message we want to send to that Slack. We need to add a try statement just for error handling, and inside of the try, let's say response is going to be equal to Slack client dot chat post message, and here we are going to send as parameter, but I have to remove this type over here. Slack client.chat post message, and here we are going to send the channel name and also the text, which is going to be the message we are going to send. And this function is ready. So let's create another function which is going to take both functionalities into one. Let's say def handle response and chat is going to receive the sender, the receiver, the value, the token name, and the transaction hash. Now, as you saw before, the information we get from the Moralis stream is not going to be separated into variables. So here on the webhook, we are going to use that to create different variables. So here I'm going to say the sender is going to be equal to transfers from, the receivers transfer to, value equal a value, token name, and the transaction hash. Now we already have all these variables, so these are the ones we are going to use on this function. Let's continue. This information is going to come as raw data, so let's also add some formatting over here. So I'm going to say the sender is going to be equal to the sender, and I'm going to split the first 7 characters and keep the latest 3. The same for the receiver. The value is going to be formatted to have the dollar symbol and also have the correct amount of decimals, and the transaction hash is going to be equal to the default etherscan URL plus the variable we are going to use as parameter over here. Now with this, we can use that send message function. So send message, we need to send the channel name. We already declared it from the .env Slack channel. And also we are going to send, of course, a message. So let's say message is going to be equal. And I'm going to take all these variables and put them all together into a string, which, as you can see here, has all that information just in one big string. Now the only thing left for us to test this is to use this handle response and chat. So I'm just going to copy the function name and its parameters, go to the webhook, and instead of just printing the transfer, I'm going to call that function. And boom, we have our bot ready. This is all you need to create a Slack channel to get information out of the blockchain using Moralis streams. As you can see, this is really easy. So let's test this out, shall we? So to test this out, let's run again our Python server with python app.py, return to the Moralis admin panel, and put our stream to active. If the connection goes through correctly, we are going to have this. As you can see here, we are already sending the messages to that channel. So let's check if that's true. And as you can see here, we are getting live information of the transactions with the transfer detail, the sender, the receiver, the value, the token name, and also the link to check that transactions on Etherscan. So this works fine, but come on, this looks awful. So just to finish this video, let's take this and make it something more beautiful to see on the Slack. So again, I'm just going to pause for a moment my stream and stop my server and make some tweaks over here. So instead of sending a message, I'm going to delete this. We are going to create an attachment. This attachment is going to have all the information we need. First, we need the fallback. Here on the fallback, I'm going to specify the same string I wanted to use as a message. Then we are going to decide the color for the Slack message. This is a green color. We are going to set up a pretext, which is going to be the first message, in this case new well alert, and then we need to send the fields. This is going to be a collection of dictionaries, which are going to have the title, the value, and a parameter called short, which is going to be true for all of these. So now, using this configuration, we are going to have a more beautiful formatted message on Slack. Also, we need to change on the send message, and instead of sending a message, we are going to say an attachment, and instead of sending a text, we are going to say attachments is going to be equal to the attachments, and we are going to send over an array because we have this array format over here and each element is a dictionary. Let's save all of this, and of course when we use that send message function, we are going to send the attachment. And this is it. The changes are ready, so let's test this out again. Let's run our server again, go to Moralis, set the stream as active, and just wait a moment. It seems the first message was posted, so let's check that out. And as you can see here, now we have a beautiful formatted message stating all the whale transfers into our Slack bot. As easy as that. And remember, we used today the stream to get information out of the Tether USD because it has a lot of transaction and is good for a video. But you can put here any contract address you want and get information out of any event. Maybe you want to get notified when a big sale has been made on your marketplace, or maybe you want to know when a decentralized autonomous organization sets up a new bot. You can use Moralis streams to get that information. And with this really simple Python script, we created a fully functional Slack bot. And as you can see, the larger parts are just to send the message in a good format. And that's all for today's video.
And that was it for today's tutorial. Don't forget, all the code for this lesson is on the GitHub repo, so check out the link on the description. And as you are already here, click over here to subscribe to Moralis channel, turn on the notifications, and also check out more videos. Thanks for watching till the end, and see you on the next occasion.